Hello and welcome back to Let's Play the Journeyman Project Pegasus Prime. And I thought there was something a little funny about this. Because last time I had I'm used to recording this in 800 by 600. Whew, excuse me. Or so I thought, but then last time I had to record in 1024 by 768. I thought that was really weird. And turns out display scaling was the culprit. It made the window bigger for some reason. Because now we are back on 800 by 600. It still bothers me though. You won't be able to see it in the in the video, but I'm running this in windowed mode, so the Windows 11 has rounded edges on the window, which I absolutely hate, because you're either rounding off whatever it is that's inside the window, or you're making the window bigger so you can round off without doing that, and that just annoys me. Just leave it be a square. There's nothing wrong with squares. But in any event, Elliot Sinclair has been up to some naughties, and we've stopped most of his robots, but there is one robot left, 2112, 15th of May, which is where all this starts. And so we will be going there to finish this. NORAD 6, Mid-Atlantic Ocean temporal distance, 6,529,248,371 seconds. A spatial distance of 4,847.05 kilometers, with an energy cost of 15,783.2 terajoules. Let's go! Actually, before we go, no. I'll need that eventually, though. I just want to prepare ourselves with the oxygen mask and the shield biochip. Now let's go.
No match for me, human. But I love a challenge.
Alright, yes, we know sleeping gas yet. Yeah, and I forgot to do this once again. I should see if there's a way to change that into default, but let's turn on our... there we go. We got our air filter on. You can technically, I think, go through the time zone without this, but you will be taking a lot more energy damage, I guess, as it were. You'll be draining a lot more energy to counteract the effects of the sleeping gas. And obviously there's... oh, actually, I think this is... Is this different? Security status. Red alert. We're on environmental control. Okay, it doesn't look... Oh, here we go. Security sweep. Starting with Alpha Station Launch Control. Submarine Dock Control Bay 3. Submarine Dock A4. And Red Sector Main Corridor. Red alert. Accessing station security feed. Security sweep, we can see knocked out NORAD staff here. And if you've played the original game, you'll certainly recognize a lot of these locations. And it just looped. Or, nope, not looping yet. Environmental Control Hub. Locating user access terminal. User located Environmental Control Hub. So we have... Okay, I didn't get a chance to read all that. So we're basically come down here. Security access door. It is not... 2 attack submarines on standby. 1 attack submarine being prepped for launch. Unauthorized activity detected. Blue sector main corridor. Initiating security access lockdown procedures. Launch control security breach. Initiating launch control lockdown procedures. Transferring launch control authority to backup facility. Transfer complete. Launch control authority transferred to Delta Station. Launch override terminal activated as emergency failsafe. Locating launch override terminal. Okay, so this is basically telling us eventually where we're going to need to go. So we're in Alpha Station. There's Beta Station. There's Gamma Station. And there's Delta Station, which has the launch override terminal. I guess they're mating them with the launch terminal. So, unlike the original game, in which everything was located just in Alpha Station, and then this is the atmospheric and communications utility pipeline. So that's a convenient way to basically let, by running all the atmosphere stuff off of one place, that you can sleep gas everyone. Launch override terminal activated. Delta Station's emergency failsafe. Security code required to launch. Press left or right to review. Okay. Launch override terminal. Security access door. Comes down to the submarine moon pool there. And there's the launch configuration terminal. Security access door there. Okay, so now I can actually just go through this and review everything. So, the map, primary vent hub, main oxygen reserves, electrolysis pipeline, dock A3 axis. So that's about where we are right now, and we're reading this access terminal. So we can try to get in here, but we won't succeed, and because this facility managed to go on alert, they're transferring over to the FAR facility. We two submarines, one which the robot's prepping, one which we'll probably have to prep. Have a loading arm, security access door, green sector access. So they have like green and red sectors, and blue sectors, and yellow sectors. Alright, so I think we've got what we need here. And here you can see, hey, the water supply that loops really badly. And then obviously this is the gas terminal that we were looking at before. So security override disabled. It's an intake mode. We can take it off and walk out there, but then without the sleeping gas, everyone wakes up and we get arrested, and who knows what happens to the robot. But either way, because they're able to arrest us at least, and since we don't have a nice clean self-destruct like the robots, history changes. So let's get out here and stop Mr. Roboto. Stop right there, criminal scum. Oh, this does not play at all like ever. I thought he shot. I guess they replaced that with the part in the science lab. But here, they'll just gingerly step over his body, I guess. High security scanner. So what we can do... So it looks like that guy's knocked out. We can put our retinal chip... Looks like maybe the robot tried to punch his way in here, but didn't get very far. But this is the, I believe, the override terminal for Alpha? Oh, we can't even use the retinal scan there. In the base game, that would have been the launch terminal for Alpha. Alright, now... Because the moon pool has water access, we've got to equalize the pressure before we can go through.
Unequal pressure between this chamber and submarine dock. Equalize pressure before entering. Avoid maximum pressure as some objects may implode.
Now, you can max pressure, but you don't die. Fortunately enough. There, so we'll just equalize pressure. I guess the robot set it that way to slow us down a bit. Alright, so... Submarine docking bay A4 elevator. Let's go down. Okay, can we move? There we go. I had to unhook myself there. Now you can see some names on the lockers. Some of them I think are supposed to be references to sci-fi. Here we can check this display. Oh, is this just the same display from earlier? It shows we've advanced. One attack submarine unaccounted for. So, yeah, robot took it. The other one's on standby. Launch control on. Security lockdown. Authority transferred to Delta Station. Alright, thanks. Flannel. I don't recognize most of these names. Hoser. We can take a look around, though. We can see they have quite the array of torpedoes, as well as mini-subs, which is what we'll be taking. And here's the Waldo arm, which that is a reference to... was it an Isaac Clarke story? About a Waldo arm? Now, ordinarily in the original game, you'd go through here.
Defense command post on security alert. Access denied.
But our access is denied. Here you can see they have small arms, tools. Oh, we got a transmission
Defense
here.
Subleader, this is Def Sub 62. I've just completed a visual run of the oxygen and data lines between Gamma and Beta sectors. No signs of cracks or pressure stresses. I am now proceeding to Gamma Sector 1 to conduct radioactivity tests on those leaky oil drums I reported this morning.
Negative, Def Sub. NORAD VI is under full-scale red alert. Hold your position till we can figure out what's happened down there. Over.
Roger that, Sub-Control.
Alright, so there's other subs out there. We can see a duty roster here, though. Which curiously has... maybe they're Marines. I'll give them the benefit of the doubt and say they're Marines, which I don't know why Marines would be... Well, that's dock duty. Still, they should be Navy personnel, I think. Respirators, first aid. And here you can play with the arm a little bit.
NORAD Alpha, Sub Bay 3.
You cannot load torpedoes, though, because that obviously defeats the whole point. Oh, we have to go here anyways, because we gotta prep our sub.
Diagnostics okay. Fueling complete. Sonar chaff full. Torpedoes none.
But here's a loading claw, which...
Loading claw operation. Move claw to location, then choose action.
In the original game, it was just a pre-programmed action, but now... There's like a mini game you have to do for the end, which I don't really like, because it's not... I get why they have you do what you do, but it's not really clear how to get to that point until trial and error if you don't actually know. And here, ooh, shiny displays. In any event, we've done all we can here. Let's switch to, I don't know, shield, why not? And I'm actually going to have to save a few times in this episode, because this is always the zone I struggle the most with. So let's, because sometimes there are some things that I just don't quite remember. And unfortunately, this is one of them. Is the trip to Delta Sector.
Attack submarine. Access platform A4. Alpha sector. Lower attack sub. Prep sub for launch. Commence boarding.
Alright, let's board the attack sub. Oh, that's some turbulent water there. Look at how it's shaking in the water. Alright. Here we go!
Negative, Def Sub 2. We've lost communication with all sectors, and there's been an unauthorized launch from Sub Bay Alpha. Intercept bogey immediately. You're authorized to attack with lethal force. We're en route to NORAD, but we're 20 clicks southwest, so you'll have no direct backup. The auto defense systems in Beta and Gamma sectors are online and will support you with torpedo fire. Alpha and Delta sectors are offline, and you'll have no additional backup there. Over?
Ooh, wow, that's some heavy interlacing I'll have to get rid of. So yeah, we get a full screen. It's awesome. And yeah, okay, this confirms that the curve does cut into the game, which I suspected. Generally, with this one, the trick is you generally want to follow the pipeline. So the map really helps with that, and we can see they put this into a place with a lot of wrecks, so we might be located in... I actually don't know where this is, but we might be in, what's it called? The triangle, where things disappear. Whale!
Alert!
And yeah, we take a lot of splash damage from those torpedoes, unfortunately. So,
Attention operator in depth sub 4. You are ordered to stop your vessel and turn off your autopilot systems immediately.
so depth sub 4, that implies defense sub 4, and that these subs are used for defensive purposes.
Sub control, you're getting no response. I'm proceeding with elimination of Vulcan.
Which would make sense since these small subs would have limited range, but small sonar signatures.
Alert! Incoming torpedo.
Both active and passive. So yeah, there's the defense system from Bravo. Taking a little more damage. But yeah, what is it? The triangle where all the ships disappeared off of Florida. That's where I'm wondering if this isn't where it's supposed to be located.
Alert! Incoming torpedo.
Whee! Now, you basically can't make a mistake in this because you'll notice all the
Warning! Impact damage.
ridiculous splash damage we take from... Like, these torpedoes don't just explode in a ball like that. They, torpedoes nowadays basically have what amount to armor-piercing warheads, so I think they'd be a lot more focused than what they're being shown in here. And not like a frickin' World War II depth charge.
Alert!
Alright, now we got some old naval mines.
Impact damage.
Uh-oh. Alright, it looks like we made it. Alright. Because that's like the last big section. Because coming up next is Delta.
Hull breach imminent.
Yeah. Well, that's why we can't make any mistakes. Because as you can see, we went... This is the right path. And we're already at risk of a hull breach on our mini sub. So I like how this looks like just a... Like they have that one building just ballasted. Like, what's in that? Is that just like a water tank? Oh, so many questions, but it's a pretty cool segment. And now the interlacing is gone. But hey, they got to make the video fit somehow, right? Remember, this is basically just a port of the original Pegasus Prime game to modern systems. They added a few things in. Like, these sequences didn't used to be interactive and stuff, but... Oh, we made it. Alright. Now we get the alarm again. Zephyr B, Matsumoto. Now, these are the names that I think were in the original game. Because they certainly sound a lot more familiar to me. We have our access point here, Delta Station, security status red alert. So now we can see. Fortunately, the bases basically have the same layout. I mean, the damaged submarine and moon pool. Wait, where's the robot submarine then? Is he supposed to be here too? Did he ditch his subs like after getting here? Launch confirmation terminal security compromised. Launch override terminal on standby as emergency failsafe. Alright. Well, we can look at the... we can actually look at the robot and what he's doing. If we go back here to the elevator, we can basically go back up to where... Oh, AI biochip is active. Did she try to say something and I just overrode her? I don't even know. Okay, good. We're still wearing our oxygen mask. Yeah, as you can see, we have plenty of energy. Oh, I forgot. If you look through these tunnels, sometimes you see the defense subs. It might have that might have been at the other base though. So if we go all the way here, this should be. We aren't going to be able to get through here.
Defense command post on security alert. Access denied.
I wonder if it'll let us in here. Nope.
Defense command post on security alert. Access denied.
But if you remember on an alpha base, that was where, hey, the human body's in a different place in this zone. Hi, scanner. We can see this is...
Defense command post on security alert. Access denied.
Can't get in there, understandably so. But we can see what sector? Is this just red? But here we can see the robot trying to launch missiles.
Nuclear strike launch code. Override. Alpha Station 1. Access credentials override. Nuclear strike launch code. Override. Alpha Station 1. Access credentials override.
And we cannot interact with the retinal sensor there. So we can't just go in and blast away. Not that we have anything to really blast away with. He's got the, because remember the plasma battery or whatever is empty. Do we have to go through this? Nope, they're already aligned. So that's, you'll notice that we didn't die when we maxed out pressure before. And I don't know if there's a reason for that, but there is a reason and warns you some objects may implode, as you can use that as one of the methods to defeat Poseidon. Very aptly named. See, look at that thing just bouncing in there. That's closed off too. That's not, we saw there's an outer door. So like this, it should be almost perfectly still. I mean, if you've got like vibrations in your base that's causing that, that's kind of a big deal. I think you got to check your reactor or something. Certainly that's not going to be good for the electronics or any moving part. We do not get... I think these are different names than the... Yeah, we got the same lockers. I think these are different names for the docks. We can play around with the systems here a little bit.
Sub-Bay 3.
I think it'll only really give us loading claw operation. We could do launch prep.
Def Sub 4 damaged. Repairs required. Launch canceled.
Yeah, about what you'd expect. Okay. So let's head on. I like how they even bother to provide windows. Because there's a reason there aren't windows on a submarine. And that's because A, things are really dark at the bottom of the ocean, and B, windows are a structural weakness.
Defense command post on security alert. Access denied.
Oh, we aren't getting in there. And once again, we won't be getting through high security camera. We won't be getting through here or there. Oh, what's that say? It doesn't let me read it very well. Manual something station? Can't quite make it out. First aid station, maybe. And now we get this handy retinal biochip, which you cannot complete the game without this. So, like, if you miss this, like, if you blew up the robot or whatever and didn't get this, your game's over. You may not know it at the time, but it is over. So let's head here.
You are standing before a damaged but secured door which leads to the Nuclear Launch Authorization Center for NORAD.
Thanks, AI. It doesn't look damaged to me. And unlike the others, we don't get an option to peek through the window, but we can go through this retinal scan.
For Alpha Sector Retinal ID scan.
Also, they said Alpha Sector, not Delta Sector. Which I wonder if that's a mistake or intentional. And like I mentioned last time, I have complaints about this because you shouldn't it's it's an illumination. You can't. They're shining a flashlight and seeing if the pattern they see is something they recognize. That's not something you can figure out what they're looking for with a magic biochip, but apparently we can. We've made it, and we see there's a lot of activity happening here. Like, it's not showing clear here, but I think in the older game, or the original game, this was more clearly like a spacewalk. You can kind of see another space station there. There it is. That's what I was thinking of. Okay, we can't play with this.
I just broke the launch code, human. You'll never stop me.
Nuclear strike authorized. Primary target, Ghorbistan. New launch silo selected. Honolulu, Hawaii. Launch to proceed in 2 minutes. To deactivate a missile before launch, use the trackball to move the cursor over the active silo, then touch the override button.
I really hate that tutorial is going on while you're
Silo deactivated.
while your
New
timer
launch
counts down.
silo selected. Dublin, Ireland. Launch to proceed in 1 minute, 50 seconds.
But now it's a game of how well do you know your ancient Earth geography, which I happen to know it very well. Even as a kid, I could ace this game.
Silo deactivated. New launch silo selected. Addis Ababa, Ethiopia. Launch to proceed in 1 minute, 40 seconds.
The U.S. has got to have some crazy influence if they have control over
Silo deactivated.
nuclear missile silos that are everywhere.
Cannot possibly win.
New launch silo selected. San Antonio, Texas. Launch to proceed in 1 minute, 30 seconds.
Like, it's one thing to, like, force a missile silo in Africa, but just, like, the influence you would need against for Ireland, a mostly peaceful nation, to accept the construction and operation of a nuclear missile silo by a foreign power in their country.
Silo deactivated. New launch silo selected. Bangkok, Thailand. Launch to proceed in 1 minute, 20 seconds.
As I'm sure you've noticed, our timer decreases 10 seconds every time we get something right. It's a lot more lenient than the first game. The first game, you had to exactly center over it using this trackball, actually, which it doesn't let you use in here. And it could be very finicky at times.
Silo deactivated.
You will fail.
New launch silo selected. Bonn, Germany. Launch to proceed in 1 minute, 10 seconds.
So I also got to look back because I noticed very briefly a smiley face when we first logged in and the screen went to static and then brought up the interface. I noticed very briefly there was a bunch of text and a smiley face, so I can't wait to go back and see if I can see what that text was. Yeah, so Germany.
Silo deactivated. New launch silo selected. Seoul, Korea. Launch to proceed in 1 minute.
Which, if you're wondering why the timer is so generous, it's because of just how the first game worked, where you could spend 20 seconds trying to click this thing just right to center over the silo you're supposed to deactivate.
Silo deactivated.
Give up, human, or I will be forced to eliminate you.
New launch silo selected. Reykjavik, Iceland. Launch to proceed in 50 seconds.
You'll also notice that it may very well have let us identify where Ghorbistan is. That's another thing I gotta look at, because it shows all the possible launch trajectories to Ghorbistan. I gotta see if there's enough of the surrounding area visible to see where. Presumably it's somewhere in Asia in the stands, but I don't know how precise that location is, or if they have like the area kind of blurred out so you don't, so you can't make that determination.
Silo deactivated. New launch silo selected. Svortovsk, Siberia. Launch to proceed in 40 seconds.
Now, this is what really intrigues me, is what geopolitical climate is this that the U.S. has control over nuclear missile silos in Russia, of all places? Curiously, the only places we don't seem to be like Iran, India, China, the Saudis. So it kind of speaks to some of the coalition here. I think that's supposed to be Mongolia.
Silo deactivated.
You are running out of time.
New launch silo selected. Madrid, Spain. Launch to proceed in 30 seconds.
I think this might be the last one. I forget if it stops at 30 or 20.
Silo deactivated. Maximum deactivation allotment exceeded. All silos deactivated.
The only good human is a dead human.
There's Ghorbistan again. And it's gone.
Agent 5, the approaching robot has just acquired you as a target. Recommend that you find a way to overpower the hostile mech immediately.
Yeah, a primary target. Yeah, I was it was getting to the point where I didn't have as much time to discuss things. I swear you could have played with those in the original, or at least like made it so the light turns on or off. But yep, now it's time to face the robot, and this is where, honestly, this is where I struggle the most. Is just remembering the sequence that that you have to go through in order to defeat the robot. So we're gonna save here again. This is the right. Yeah, I think this is the right way. Just in case. I suppose we could put our shield biochip on. Not that it's gonna help us getting grabbed and choked out by a robot, but let's see if I remember my remember the order of operations here.
NORAD Delta, Sub-Bay 3. Warning, all personnel. Contamination detected in NORAD air ducts and ventilation systems.
Hey, it shows the robot on the screen.
Loading claw operation. Move claw to location, then choose action.
I don't know why you can't get through there. Maybe we can put it on extra alert.
This is human.
Put it on extra alert by shutting down the silos. There we go. Okay, thank God. I did remember. But yeah, you can see it's such a specific series of events, and the reason for it is so that way his head is perfectly here.
Agent 5, recommend that you proceed with the removal of the robot's biochips before initiating auto recall.
So his head is at perfect reaching height for you to grab in and pull his biochips. In the original game, you just grab him with the arm, and he'll break the window, but it will stop him from grabbing you, and then his head will just lead through the window because he does push the arm to its limits, and then you just pluck him out there. But here, you always have to pluck it out over here. So here's his biochips. We've got, I think that was the retinal. Here's the optical memory, and I don't know what copy that was for the other biochip, but time to see what his mission was specifically.
Poseidon, I am sending you to the deep-sea installation NORAD 6 in the year 2112, where you will disrupt the world unity talks by launching a nuclear missile towards Ghorbistan. You will detonate the warhead before it touches down. That should suffice to delay world unification. I can only pray that it will not also touch off a nuclear holocaust. I wish it had not come to this. But until now, it has been entirely out of my control. If the bureaucrats who scrapped the Pegasus project had instead used it in the way it was meant to be used, they would have realized that aggressors always choose the most unsuspecting victim. The Indians, the Africans, the Jews, the Swedes were all lulled into a sense of complacency before they were overpowered by their conquerors. Our alien friends tell us that they come in the name of peace, a tactic used by all the worst offenders throughout history. And so I am left to do what I can to ensure that humanity itself is not the next victim. I'm sending you all back in history to rewrite our future, in which we will not offer these creatures an engraved invitation to enslave us all. And if you fail, I will be forced myself to demonstrate personally that we are not all as docile as we might seem. I know the one place in all of Sector 3 with the best view of the Capitol building. And from that place, by the use of a weapon of my own devising, I will assassinate the Cyril and Delegate myself. And if, God forbid, I should fail, one touch of the button on my remote detonator will be enough to end it all.
Agent 5, I've scanned the download from your optical memory biochip. I must say I'm amazed at what has just taken place. I'd like to commend you on a job well done. It's apparent that Dr. Elliot Sinclair is behind these blatant attempts to alter time. According to my data, Sinclair was last seen in Paris about 2 weeks ago, and intelligence has not detected him since, but I'm sure the arrival of the Symbiotry ambassador is no coincidence. Get out in the field and find Sinclair, if you can, and stay alert, Agent 5. This isn't over until we capture him. I'll cut into your direct monocle line the moment I receive any new data. Go!
And that's it. We've resolved all 3 of the temporal destructions, and Sinclair's plan is laid bare. He wanted to use Poseidon to delay world unification because without an enemy to fight, the world would demilitarize. But he didn't want to set off a holocaust that would cripple us more than it would keep us militarized. He used Ares on Mars to attack, to blow up the Mars base, because this was, remember, that was the first confirmed log documented sighting of, oh wait, was that Mercury? No, Mercury was a shapeshifter, I think. But he used Ares on Mars to blow up our colony to make it look like the aliens did it, and blow up the alien spaceship, making it look like we did it. The idea being it would basically prejudice, because obviously Earth would draw conclusions and think that the aliens were responsible for blowing up Mars, and we would, I think his plan here is that at this point we would unify against the aliens. Well, the aliens would show that Earth is hostile and is capable of resisting them and should not be intruded upon lightly. And then you have the conference with Mercury, which I believe there the plot was, that was more a backup plan to where if Ares and Poseidon failed, Mercury would be able to at least keep us from rolling out the red carpet for them. But now we've disrupted all his operations, so now what he wants to do is he wants to assassinate the Strolin ambassador from a place that has a good vantage point of the capital, and failing that, he's got a thermonuclear bomb on Caldoria that he will blow if he fails with a dead man switch. So he is doing everything he can to sabotage our negotiations for inclusion into the symbiotry of peaceful beings. At least we fixed the timeline, so we got Commissioner Baldwin back rather than Commander Baldwin or Colonel Baldwin, whatever they called him. He's now a civilian again, and we're now like a civilian security organization rather than a military one. Let's see here. Our air filter's still on. We're still wearing this. Okay, we can turn that off. We will need you next, actually. And for now... Oh, you know what? I completely forgot to do the environ scans for the AI. I am sorry. I forget... I don't know at what point I started forgetting them, but... Honestly, I don't think she provides... I don't think we're missing out on much. I don't think she's providing that much detail. But as I believe our introductory videos called it, Sinclair at first might seem to be just like a crazy dude, but he actually has some decent motivations, and some of these won't be revealed until later in the series. But I believe the videos we were forced to watch when we started the game, because we were late, described him as part-time historian, full-time physicist. So obviously he is a man who has studied history, and you notice how he's using history as precedent and as like the reasoning for his actions. Like, hey, look at what the Europeans did to the Native Americans. Look at what the Europeans did to the Africans. Look at what the Germans did to the Jews and all that. I should say Nazis specifically rather than Germans, but he's saying, all these people come under the guise of friendship and then slide in the knife. And he thinks that's what's happening here. And that is why he is afraid that the aliens are going to conquer us as soon as they make us lower our guard. Although I don't know if we have much guard to lower to begin with, because in the wake of the Unification Treaty, most military organizations were disbanded. There's basically a very tiny standing military, which I think is more just like a counter-terrorist organization at this point. You'll see a little more detail of that in the next game. We're a graduate of like a counter-terrorism team, but yeah, so he's driven by fear, and he thinks what he's doing is protecting us. Although, obviously this is the future. We're supposed to be good people. We're supposed to believe in the best intentions of others. So we are obligated to stop him. That being said, he also wants to sacrifice a city of thousands, perhaps millions. I have no idea what the population of these city ships are. But until next time, think about where we were in Caldoria that had a good view of the Capitol building, because that's where we're going to be heading next for the final showdown with Sinclair. With that being said, thank you all for watching, and stay tuned for... Actually, before I go on, did we get any inventory items? I don't think we did. See if there was anything worth reading. I like how our mask is still full, even though we used it, because I think we only got an addition to the optical memory biochip. We didn't get a new biochip. Yeah, so I think I read this one already. This biochip is used solely for the purpose of deceiving retinal scan. Yeah, because this is what led me, I think, to the whole retinal scan puzzle in the last episode. I was reading that, so yeah, next final countdown, final showdown will begin next time. With that, thank you all for watching, and stay tuned for next time, and stay safe out there, and we'll see you then.
Temporal Security Annex Global Transport. Location classified. Searching for open transport route now. Route accessed. Upon entering, transport card will be required. Please insert your global transport card now. Choose a destination. Preparing destination transporter. Recording passengers' organic substratum. Prepare for molecular disintegration.